Hey dudes, I'm going to start trying to keep these talks a little bit more concise as much as I possibly can. Today's workload is going to consist of cutting up the next four canvases. So basically I have the 24 by 30 standard size that I'm kind of working it with at the on the smaller scale of this series. And every time that I cut some, last time I was doing two, but I'm starting to do four now just because it, sets me up for success a little bit better. And it's like a week's worth of canvas, so that's good. And I, again, I'm not really sure which reference I'm going to be using today. I'm going to start working on that after I cut up the canvas and just kind of see what the day offers me. And that's it. Yeah, so there's, without just getting too repetitive, the series is developing very well. I'm excited about it. Kind of, it's encouraging me to kind of rethink some of my very strong opinions about working serially. I'm not all the way there yet, but hey, it serves its practical purposes as well. And we can get into that another time, and I certainly will. But for today, let's focus on the task at hand and get to work. You already know your boy is prone to careless mistakes, and today I made one of those mistakes. I left my palette cam memory card at the studio, so we just have the time lapse for today. Basically, starting with the drapery, just kind of like top to bottom. This reference is very similar to one that I've already done, but since we're working the old series, baby, we're allowed to do that, and that's okay. So I had pre-mixed all the colors for the dress, for the legs, everything, and so here I'm just kind of obviously just applying everything, working from dark to light. It's a very similar setup to the last one as well, everything in terms of like the colors too. There's a little bit of a few tweaks in this one that are different that I really liked. On the leg, for instance, there was a little bit more lemon yellow that went into there, and that's not something that I get an opportunity to use on a flesh tone very much. It's like a nice lemon yellow, but we've got that big field of green, and it's just reflecting right onto that leg real nice like. So I captured it as best as I could. And here just putting in the shoes, adding a nice flat layer before I go in and add some darks and lights, just basically like a middle value over the shoes, and then going back in with some darks and some lights. Kind of bumped the camera here by accident, so I had to readjust it, but here I'm adding just kind of touching up some of the white highlights or the lightest value. And then for the background colors, I kind of took a few liberties in terms of the color itself. I usually stick pretty close to the reference, but I've kind of been working in, pretty similar colors the whole time, and kind of just wanted to tweak things a little bit. It's not a huge tweak. I kind of wiped the thing off there, made a mistake, but you'll notice that the blue background is a little bit grayer, and then the green is going to be a little bit more vibrant and kind of slightly on the bluer side than the reference. And again, that's just because I just took some liberties because I felt like working just slightly with a different green and stuff. Not a huge, nothing to write home about, but it's just one of those things that makes the process that much more fun for me. Picking a pattern again, boom, 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 and then we're going to start on the cat, and we're working this guy with oil paint and an airbrush, just like we did the previous. So here we go, we've got it set up, and I'm starting with just a base coat, and what I want to achieve on this base coat is full opacity. What I do not want is for it to be a light version of itself, or for there to be any sort of little areas where there's variations in the opacity. I want it to be a nice, consistently flat, dark layer. So even if I have to kind of go over it 2 or 3 times in the first pass, that's okay. And I went ahead and slowed it down here so that we can have a real-time look at how this goes. I'm not leaving the borders too much. I'm not pushing past the borders. I'm just trying to get everything as exact as I can for this first pass. And the more that you want to blur something, the further back you're going to move the airbrush from your surface. So here I'm still keeping it pretty sharp, but it's just allowing a little bit of that blur. I'm getting a pretty good opaque layer here, and it's starting to get as dark as I need it to be. What I'm not liking though is the overspray. You can see how there's a little bit of a halo almost around the cat itself, you know, and that is just basically overspray. That is the little bits of atomization just flying away into the freaking ether around the cat. So what I'm doing next is I got the background color and I diluted that, and I'm testing it here because, you know, you need to test those things. And now I'm just going in with the light layer and just trying to diminish a little bit of that overspray and also soften the border of the cat even more. So it kind of serves a dual purpose. I'm continuing to exaggerate the blur, but I'm also cleaning up my border. You'll also notice that the value itself of what I'm spraying on there is a little bit lighter than the actual background color. And that is because I am using odorless mineral spirits, and from my observation, my experience, odorless mineral spirits lightens the value of your color temporarily until it evaporates. The cool thing about odorless mineral spirits, is that it evaporates pretty quickly, and after that you've got like a good good true reflection of what you've made. But during the process itself, it can be kind of tricky because it does lighten the values. And so sometimes if you're not experienced, you'll go and you'll put something on there, and then you'll think, oh, I messed it all up, and you'll remix your colors and keep finding that it's not the right value, only to come back, you know, the next day and see that you either overshot it or whatever. But if you had left it alone, it would be just fine. And that's the case with these. And you know, every time that I use odorless mineral spirits, I notice that it just gets lighter and then evaporates and is good again. After that, I came back in with my dark color, and I am just putting it back in and trying to just be more conscious about the overspray. If you were painting something very blurry, what you would do is every time you did a pass like this, you would stay further away from the border every time you did a pass, and that's what would give you the sort of blurred effect. And I think I'll do an in-depth video soon on how to make things look blurry, because I think that might be interesting to a lot of people and something that I would like to explain personally. Something I think would be cool to just talk about. So after this, I went ahead and used my lighter value and came back in and cleaned up the border one more time. And then I went into the figure on the hand and did the same effect. It was just kind of after I had stopped recording, I had the idea, and I was like, oh, maybe if I kind of, introduce some of that technique into the hand, it'll kind of, it'll convey a nice little movement of the shadow and the distance as it gradually moves away from the ground and the subject matter. So I finished with that, and then took a good photo and really liked the way it looks. So let's hit that B-roll. And thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the attention. I appreciate you guys sticking around, and hopefully these videos continue to get better, more exciting, and more valuable in terms of their educational output. And if there's anything again that you want to see specifically, anything you want to learn, anything you want to know about, let me know, dude. I am down and ready. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow.